Hey, every Dolly, it's Mama Doll, proud founder of the Black Doll Affair Social Club and Self Esteem Movement. Woosa. Woosa. Welcome to the 13th annual State of the Union Dollhouse Address, year 13, as only 2020 could usher it in, right? This is going to be a big conversation because there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to discuss, but we're going to do it as I've always done it, very casually and very informatively. And hopefully I get to all of the questions that you have asked me. There's a lot to go through, so let's get to it, okay? So much has happened in 2020. As I said in my post earlier this morning, there's not one person that would deny that 2020 is a special year. I knew it would be because 13 has always been a lucky number for me. I am not that doll that says 13 is an unlucky number because I haven't found it to be in my life. And so I looked forward to year 13 of the Black Doll Affair. No one could have predicted what 2020 has had in store for us. And yet someone did. So let's start there. 2008, 1 year after I started the engines of this movement, we were at a Black Doll Affair election night. It was Black Doll Affair election night. Barack Obama was elected president, 44th president of the United States. And it was a special moment for our country, particularly for our movement, especially for this Black girl. We laughed, we cried. You know, why did we laugh? Because we were like looking at each other laughing, like, did this just happen? Did they just say that out loud? Did Roland Martin just announce Barack Obama? You know, so we were giddy. We were giddy. It was a special moment in time. What I said to the dolls, which is why I say who could have predicted it. So, and any doll that has heard the story before, just bear with me. But what I said to the dolls that evening is, the good news is that we have our first Black president. The bad news is that we have our first Black president. And what I meant by that, because they all said, well, Mama Doll, what does that mean? I'll tell you. What I meant by that was, the good news is that we are woke enough finally as a country to elect a Black man as our president, the leader of the free world. I said, that's a woke, special thing that the Black dolls will definitely forever hold as a special moment. I said, but the problem with that is that this evening marks the night that America gets to finally deal with its ugly secret called racism, called slavery, called inequality. Not that we've never dealt with it before, but here's how we dealt with it before. I said to them, and I say to you tonight, what I said to them in 2008 was, look at it this way. A little girl is molested by her father, and we will relate the molestation to slavery. And the mother, Americans, find out about it. She finds out about the molestation. And instead of taking that child and coddling that child and trying to make that child understand that she understands the trauma that happened to her, Mama grabs a mop and starts mopping the floor. And she then goes and pulls pots out of the cabinet to make dinner and just goes on her way as if it never happened. And every time the child tries to talk about it, either in a mature way or, in a, hey, let me tell you what happened to me, or in a dysfunctional way, looting, mama looks over at the child and says, that happened like last week. Are you still carrying that? That was so long ago. That was like 10 years ago. Girl, get over it. Right. And so she never gets the chance to talk about what happened to her. What had happened was, as we say, she never gets a chance to do that. And so every day she has to carry that burden. And she, by the way, is we, us Black folk, us Black dolls. Every day we have to carry that burden, and because the sun rises and sets on that day, and bills have to be paid, and and yet she's living with that trauma, and nobody wants to talk to her about it. And then one day, a psychiatrist moves in next door. And the psychiatrist is having a casual conversation with mama. And mama casually mentions what happened to the child. And the psychiatrist says, no, we've got to make this right. I.e., Black man in the White House. And the children in the family, Americans, say, yes, we can. Yes, we can. And so they all come together and they talk to this child about what had happened was. And it gets ugly before it gets better. And so I told them that little parable. And I said, is that the word I'm looking for, parable? I think so. I said, and so that's what we're dealing with. America's ugly little secret. Barack Obama represents what we had, the trash America has to take out. And the question becomes, how ugly is that going to become? I said, here's what I predict. I predict that it's going to get super ugly. I think it's going to get very ugly. I think there's going to be bloodshed in the streets. I think that we will be looking at, or discussing, martial law. I think that until we get it right, there is going to be bloodshed. And I said, I hope it's not Barack Obama, but I feel like it could be. I just, I said, I pray that it's not him. I said, but there's going to be people to die, and there's going to be chaos in America, much like a civil war. And dolls were like, oh, there's not going to be a civil war, not in this day and age. And I said, hey, listen, I'm just making a prediction. What do I know? And so I said, but here's what's interesting. Because the secret is so old, because more babies have been born into that family that are a bit more woke than the ones that were there when it happened, it's going to be those people who actually take to the streets and protest. And when I say those people, I mean literally white people who will have the luxury to take to the streets and protest, because if we do it, we'll get shot. And so I predicted that. The ending of that story went a little something like what I think we're seeing now and what I envision will happen in November. It's going to get ugly before it gets better. And sadly, I just do. I feel like it's going to get ugly before it gets better. And so fast forward to 2020. Yay, Black dolls turned 13 and Black Barbie's turning 40. And let's celebrate that at Yo Barbie style on the blonde doll's birthday, March 9th. So March 9th, 2020 marked the last official Black doll affair we had as a meetup. And that was interesting because we were just starting to deal with COVID. We were just starting to hear the word pandemic, virus. And so you and I showed up for that affair beautifully, celebrated Barbie's birthday, and then we took our toys and went home, literally. And then I put the dollhouse on lockdown because, as I have said over the years, I am not going to put the black dolls in harm's way if at all possible, and certainly not when I know better. And what I know for sure is that a pandemic is serious. This virus has so many questions, and I got asthma. So there's that. And so I put us on lockdown until further notice. And so thank you all for being patient, and awaiting this evening to find out what's next as a doll. So much has changed. In that time, I turned 49. May 1st, I turned 49. Typically, as we have done for 13 years, we have the Founders Big Hat Birthday Brunch. That didn't happen. That was weird. And then May 25th happened, and the world learned of George Floyd. And the world watched for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The world watched. If you haven't already, please watch 8 minutes and 46 seconds on YouTube. Everybody needs to see that film. If you're a white person, please take the time to watch 13. It is eye-opening. It shuts down any argument that you may have in ignorance about racism and the pain body called being Black in America. I challenge you, before you take to another post and say, well, you can't solve it by looting, before you tell another person to get over it, before you say another thing, in your rooted privilege, watch 13. Watch 13. And then come to the table and add something that's worthwhile, that's worth us listening to. George Floyd's little girl in the video says, "Daddy changed the world." And much like 2020 will go down in history as one of the most unique, strange, odd years on the calendar, few people will argue that George Floyd changed the world. To the degree that he changed my partners over at Mattel. To the degree that they changed the way they see Hue and me. So let's start there. I have taken the opportunity to repost Mattel's commitment to play fair with the Black community, and them going so far as to use the controversial hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thank you, Mattel. That's a bold thing to do for a corporation. That it's so rooted in Black, white, and brown. I love in their statement and commitment to the Black community, they said so much. It's lengthy, but please take the time to read it. But I love that they said Black, white, brown, and Indigenous. Someone was thoughtful enough to add the hashtag Black Lives Matter and to be inclusive, especially with those who are true Americans. Okay, so I am laying in bed, hot flashing one night. I'm laying in bed, hot flashing, and I come across Mattel's post. And it's so rooted in, we're going to try to do better. I felt it in my soul that they really want to try to do better. The commitment talks about we are going to listen harder. We are going to hear more. We are going to open up seats at the table. We are going to put a spotlight on more diverse talent. We are going to donate to causes that are worthy. We are going to add diversity to our cast, and just made me cry, because you and I, the Black Dolls, we have been in the trenches for 13 years, trying to make people understand that the reason we exist, the reason I started what was supposed to be a one-time Christmas party that has gotten us to 13 years, is because of the doll tests. I watched the doll test. This Black doll watched the doll test, where Black children chose the Black doll as bad, ugly, and the one they didn't want to play with, the one they didn't prefer, the least preferred, in fact, the one they didn't want to even say looked like them. And I got with you and said, hey, let's see what we can do. And so to see Mattel use the hashtag and put up a 10-page post, that says to me, something's changed. Something's changed. And then you saw it and you see it, other corporations following suit. I said, this is a moment in time, 2020, that we may not ever see again, because things are changing. And I want to make sure that if my partners are opening up their dollhouse windows and yelling into a megaphone, come on, we see y'all, I wanted to make sure that us, join them. And so I wrote kind of a Jerry Maguire memo, if you saw that movie. A little bit pushy, very hearty, the kind of heart that you only see in the Black Doll Affair. There's a reason for the heart in the logo, but certainly not the kind of heart you see in corporate America that they understand or want to read at their corporate desk. Did I say pushy? A bit pushy, but also humble, in reminding them that you and I deserved to have a voice, a bigger voice, because the Black Dolls are the largest consumer group of Black Barbie. You and I needed to have a seat at the table, because if I had had a seat, I would have said, I think it's great that you gave NAACP $250,000, but guess what? Everybody's given them money. I would have said there's all these other grassroots movements that are worthy, that don't get the megaphones, that really use this opportunity to be seen and heard. And I would have brought that to the table. Black Lives Matter, God bless them. This is their time to shine. NAACP and the Boys and Girls Club, United Negro Fund, that they are so well funded right now because of George Floyd and that 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And yet my partners, and I'm not discounting, because I know that the NAACP will do right by taking those resources back into the community. But I said, that's where diversity comes in. That's where I would have said, if you give that money to the Black Doll Affair, we could use it. We'll do right by it. We're pretty philanthropic, so we'll give back with it. And you'll get your money back. More importantly, you'll get your money back because, largest consumer of your product. So it was pushy. It was Mama Doll. It was Mama Doll. And as you know, not everybody knows how to take Mama Doll. So um, they responded and quickly and said, "Hey, Mama Doll, let's get on the phone. Let's talk about that." And I cried again because I just thought, "Holy shit! I think they really get it. Like I think there is an alarm clock in the dollhouse of Mattel. I think they are woke." Not that they weren't woke before, because clearly we are celebrating 10 years. In our 13th year of the Black Doll Affair, we are celebrating 10 years with partners, as partners with Mattel. So yay about that. But anyway, long story short, too late, I know. We all got on the phone, their PR, their marketing, me and KG, our publicists, and they literally said, "We got your email. We appreciate it. Thank you for reposting our post. And we're listening. Floor is yours." And for almost 30 minutes, I hosted a Black Doll Affair with my partners over at Mattel. And for almost 30 minutes, they listened. And after I spoke, they said, "Okay," thanked me again and said they'd get back with us. Then they came back to us, another email, "Hey, Mama Doll, can y'all get on the phone again?" And they spoke. And here's what they said to me. "Mama Doll, we are grateful for the Black Doll Affair. We are appreciative of the support. We thank you for your feedback, and we hear you. And so here's what we'd like to do for you and the Black Doll Affair. One, we want to give you a seat at the table. So welcome to the dollhouse. Two, we want to give you," they didn't use this term because it's my term, but it's what it is, "an ambassador." So ambassador, that's my term. We want to make you an ambassador for Barbie, a Barbie ambassador. And I'll explain what all of this means. Three, we want to get more involved with the Black Doll Affair and the Black Dolls, more social interaction. Because I also suggested that they put a Mama Doll in a Barbie movie, because I was like, what cartoon doesn't have a Mama Doll that's telling the kids which way to go and how to grow and who to play well with, and that we're not all perfect and that child's going to make mistakes. She is a doll, but she's not plastic. She's living, So I was like, how cool would that be if? And so they said, we can't add you to a movie right now because legal and movie studios and things like that. But where we can have more conversation with you and give you input is through our YouTube channel, the Barbie YouTube channel, and Netflix. And we can, with that seat at the table, we can talk about development and characterizations and developing characters and fun things like that. They said, and this is huge, they said, "We were in your store and we see that you all have some Barbie products that you create and sell. And so we want to give you the license to do more of that." And so I'm just thinking, my head each time, I'm just thinking that was enough. That was enough. But they kept going on. So let's go through each. Seat at the table means I have a voice when decisions are made. Now, they have something that they call the Barbie Council. And that is a council, a team, a small professional team that's made up of handpicked people in the community, from celebrities to athletes to doctors to mama dolls. People that they feel are rooted in empowering girls and boys. After all, Barbie dolls also are boy dolls. But so it's a select team, and they have retreats, and they have telezooms, and especially in 2020, just powwows to create the best doll for a child. How do we best empower a child? As an ambassador, in their words, ambassador, in our words, ambassador. As an ambassador, of the Barbie Council. They will send new dolls to the dollhouse before they hit the market. Think LeBron James opening up his door, his dollhouse door, and getting a pair of Nikes before any of us can buy them. How cool is that? More social interactions with the dolls. They want your feedback. They want to engage you more. They want to make sure that Barbie's taking to Instagram and saying fun things like, hey, look at my t-shirt. I got it at blackdollaffair.com. That kind of thing. One of the things that we can look forward to is September 28th. They have scheduled a design call with Mama Doll. And that means that all of the Barbie designers at Barbie and I are going to get on a Zoom call, and we are going to talk about designing dolls. And I will bring to the table your questions. Why did you choose purple lipstick? I've seen that before on the internet. Your concerns. Well, why is Barbie showing so much cleavage? And they'll explain to you the difference between a play line and a collectible. Just a kumbaya conversation within the family, because as I said in the beginning of this video, family conversations are important, right? And you all have been such enormous supporters. I wanted to make sure that your voices are heard, that you get to socially interact in your hard work. And Mattel clearly wanted that as well. I'm having a hot flash. Ooh, 49. Where's my fan? Where's Mama's fan? Okay, so that is super cool. More on that to come, but when this video is complete, you can go into our social timelines, and Lauren, the founder's doll, is going to post something for the Design a Doll call, and you can put in your comments, and I'll pull some ones that I think are fascinating, interesting, and share those with the designers of Barbie, okay, on the 28th. So that's super cool. Looking forward to the first interaction with Barbie. I also spoke to Barbie, and I spoke to Barbie's team about Christmas and getting the dolls more involved with our biggest event of the year, where we give away thousands of dolls around the country. From Hawaii to Houston, Florida to Wyoming, New York to give me to Oklahoma. We're every year, first Saturday of the year, the Black dolls consume Black Barbie in a way that nobody else does. And so I wanted to make sure that they were involved. So I did speak to them about an event that I think at the time I thought was worthy in terms of race relations. And they agreed to, as they do every year, Mattel gets behind us with Barbie. But we were talking about a race relations event, and then they rolled out the Barbie Career of the Year with a Black candidate, or the candidate was Black Barbie. And so I'm going to talk to the partners about putting the race relations event in 2021 for two reasons. Because Black Barbie's running for president and the elections are coming up, and that's one. And the second reason is because I think that things are really going to get intriguing and peak in terms of race relations towards the end of the year, towards elections. And so I don't know that our voices, our peaceful voices, will be heard then. And I think it might be better Black History Month, February, Barbie's birthday, March. Okay. And then that gives us just 1 year for me to continue to keep y'all safe. All right. So we are going to we are going to get behind Barbie running for president. I thought if Mattel has decided that Black Barbie is running for president, and we are in the most important I'm not sure. I hope I didn't lose you guys. Just got something that said crash report. We are in the most important election of the year. Of the year. We're in the most not even of the year. That's not what I meant to say. We are in the most important election of our lifetime. And so for a Black doll, we got to get behind Barbie. If Barbie is running for president, then who are we not to get behind her and that campaign? So Christmas is going to be about getting behind Black Barbie's campaign. And we've got a new hashtag that I created called Vote for Barbie. For is spelled FOUR. And that means Barbie is asking that we get at least 4 people registered and we get at least 4 people voting. Okay, that's at minimum. But we are going to put together the Black dolls and Barbie. We are going to get together, as we have for the last 10 years, put together a heck of a campaign, Christmas campaign that will continue as a doll giveaway at Christmas, but will kick off with a election campaign from Black Barbie. So stay tuned for that. All right. With this change of a pandemic, of having a social club and yet we can't socialize, with Mattel coming in and embracing us in the way that they have, it really has ushered in probably the biggest change. And that is our movement is going to be less heavy in meetups and more empowered through lifestyle, brand, and products. I really want to take what we've done, change the way Black girls are perceived, more importantly, perceive themselves, take what we've done into doll houses, since that's where everybody is these days, right? And really brand the Black Doll Affair and products that you can use in the kitchen or that you can use on your Barbie dolls or in your little girl's bedroom, right? We are going to do what we always have, just stay rooted in you and what you want. I am going to continue to do what I always have, check in with you and see what you want in store. But we are going to make a shift more from meetups, social club, into developing a lifestyle brand. All right. The biggest thing with meetups is hold on to your wigs. I have moved to Tacoma, Washington. I am no longer in Atlanta. That's a big one. That might be the biggest news of the evening. I am closer to the dollhouse, the Barbie dollhouse on the West Coast now. And this will be a regional office for us, and we'll have some regional events when we can all do that again. Atlanta will remain our HQ. We grew up there. Atlanta gave us our own day in the state of Georgia. I met you there. I met lifetime friends in Atlanta. Atlanta is Black Hollywood, and there's no reason that the Black dolls should move out of town, right? When we can socialize, we'll get back to the affairs that we love, the big hat brunches, the get-together getaways in Blue Ridge, cruises. I'll meet you for what we love, Books for Africa. I intend to hop on a plane and come back and see Hue play with Black dolls. But we really are going to use this time to build a lifestyle brand. We're going to use this time to put together virtual affairs that in philanthropy that matter. We're going to use Black Barbie as a role model to help us do that. The experiences program with magazine experiences, we will continue those because they're fun and successful. things are all over the place right now in publishing in terms of who's getting out of the house to read them, and who's got sales on ads, and who's charging biggest bucks. So what we've decided, we've got the little black dress Vogue affair. That one's going to be put on hold until 2021. And we've got the equestrian Vogue. That was supposed to be summer of 2020, but we see what happened summer of 2020. So the equestrian Vogue is being moved to summer 2021. All right, I'll keep you up to date on those posts. But we are going to engage in beautiful. We definitely want to do people's most beautiful ad. So if you're interested in being a part of people's most beautiful and being a model, MODOLL, in those experiences, 404-660-7363, text the doll phone. That will be 2021 as well. But we love the magazine experiences. They give us the opportunity to go into iconic publications like Vanity Fair and Vogue and Oprah and Essence, as we did in 2019 and 20. You guys really love that, and there's no reason for us not to do it. I'll meet you for Red Nose Day. I'll meet you for Stamp Out Hunger. We will continue to do that. And in fact, I'm going to put someone on my team that is 100% in charge of virtual affairs so that those are more consistent. All right. And we can hold someone accountable because Mama Doll can't do everything. Speaking of my team, I kicked off just before this the Ambassador program, right? And the Ambassador was the opportunity for you to buy into our brand, where you could pay a monthly service fee, much like a Mary Kay rep, to sell our product. We're putting that whole program on hold, particularly with all the stuff that now has my attention with the Barbie brand. And so if you are an ambassador, I will be in touch with you this week to talk about collapsing that program and what you can do with the leverage that you put into it. All right. My team, my immediate team, HQ team. I say HQ, but Lauren and Nicole and Kendra are in Virginia, DC, and Maryland, but they're still on what I call my HQ team. They will continue to, I should just, Lauren, Nicole, Kendra, Lisa. I feel like I'm running out of time and I don't want to do that. Lauren, Kendra, Lisa, Nicole, Karen, Zena, Ellen, Mashanda. They are my HQ ambassadors now. They are on the boss's team. So those women will now be what I call my ambassadors. All right. And they will have meetings with the boss with you locally when I'm not in town. And then, of course, when I come to town, we'll schedule that and go from there. Christmas ambassadors. We are opening up, since I am no longer in Atlanta, we are opening up the Christmas ambassador affair, where you can put on Christmas parties at Christmas, your own for the Black Dolls, for the Black Doll Affair. And so if that's something that you're interested in, 404-660-7363. We are always taking Christmas ambassadors, but we are now opening that up in Georgia. We never had that because I was in Georgia. All right. So there's an opportunity there. This is just so exciting. It is a move into the right direction. You know, I turned 49. I can't be out in the trenches every Saturday morning being the hardest working doll on the playground. I'm getting older, right? So to some degree, this needed the movement, like the doll, needed to evolve. We've done such incredible work changing the way Black girls are perceived, and more importantly, perceive themselves, that now that we know that Black girls rock, and that they're magic, and that Black dolls matter, the question becomes, so now what? Well, That's what I'm looking forward to doing with you. I appreciate